Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about my wish list for NGS because, well, it is Chinese New Year and I have been traveling quite a bit with family and stuff like that, so I haven't had much time to play NGS. However, I have been watching a lot of anime, a lot of MMO animes actually, and so I took a lot of inspiration from those animes. I was like, why can't we have that in video games? You know, the anime is based around MMOs, and like there's a lot of things that they do right in the anime where I'm just kind of like, why can't they do that in game? But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first anime I want to bring up is Shangri-La Frontiers, because that is a new anime that is still airing this season, and this anime has so many great things that I wish that would be implemented into NGS. So the very first thing that I would like to see is going to be a crazy crafting system, something similar to what Monster Hunter has done really well. It's like you kill a mob, so there's a boss monster, let's say for example Bujin, but if you want to craft Bujin's katana, for example, you need to break like his arms, and then you need to break off certain parts of his weapons and stuff like that in order to craft specific armors and specific weapons based off each different monster. Like that's something that I would really love to see. Monster Hunter does it, you know, if you want to build a special piece of armor, you need to break the monster's tail or smash its horns off or break something of its legs or torsos or wings and stuff like that. So I really like that system about Monster Hunter, and I would really like it if something similar to that was implemented into NGS. So it would give people a purpose to hunt down specific mobs, because when you hunt down these specific mobs, you can use their parts in order to build specific weapons or specific augments and stuff like that. Maybe let us power up our weapons in a specific way, give us a little bit more customizability, and it would just give us a little bit more purpose in finding all of these monsters and hunting them down. And this is something that I would definitely like to see, and something that they have in Shangri-La Frontiers that I was like, oh my gosh, we need something like that. That is freaking awesome. However, on top of that, another thing Shangri-La Frontier also showcased is unique scenarios. I would love to see unique scenarios or rare scenarios that happen when you're just wandering around in the open field, when you're fighting enemies, when you're running urgent quests. Have a chance of getting a special version of Darkfall Solus or Darkfall's Aegis or whatever. You know, it would just add that little spice of like, oh, I want to queue for every single urgent quest because there's a chance of me getting this special one. It's very similar to like Palworld. I've been playing a lot of Palworld recently as well with my friends, and it's just nice when you find a shiny, I think they're called Lucky Pals in Palworld, but you know, it's like a shiny Pokemon basically, and you're just like, oh my god, it's a shiny Pokemon, we need to catch it because it's ultra rare, and then you've got the legendary stuff and all of that stuff. But there are different rarities and different tiers of things in the game, so I would like to see that be implemented in NGS. Sure, we do have like the gold and the silver variants, but you know, they don't drop anything special and they don't have any like super rare value or any rewards tied to it, which kind of defeats the purpose of like, oh wow, this is like a rare mob. But the way Shangri-La Frontiers implements unique scenarios is really cool, because it's just this random quest, you know, this random quest line that leads on and on and on and on, and you don't know what the rewards are. Sometimes you might get absolutely nothing. And you know, the main character, Sunraku, actually gets screwed over plenty of times because he follows this unique quest and he gets like nothing at the end. However, eventually he does get some really good rewards. And you know, it kind of emphasizes again back to my first point of the crafting system, where your weapon is based off the materials you invest into. So let's say everyone has their rare weapons, but no rare weapon is going to be identical because everyone's investing different materials and building it a different way in order to give it different affixes. I feel like that would make the weapon so much more interesting. Sure, you know, you can make it like not tradable and all of that and just have it like as a standard weapon first. However, people should be able to add special effects on top of it by farming extra stuff. So for example, let's say that you get your rare weapon, you get it to enhancement 80, and you fill out the augment slots. However, maybe we can overdrive our weapon, or we can drive it and make it even stronger. However, maybe there's a chance of it breaking or something along those lines, and you need to farm up, you know, more ancient materials, or you can add more dexterity or agility or some sort of other stats onto the weapon potential by investing different materials onto it to customize it even more. And those are the kind of things that I would like to see in the game, in NGS at least, just so that it gives people a little bit more stuff to go for, you know? After you max out your armor, after you max out your weapon, there's still that little element of like, oh, I can still make my weapons special and make my weapons unique and make all of my gear unique to fit my personal playstyle. And that actually leads up to my third point that they also showcase in Shangri-La Frontiers, and that is the ability to customize a build for more build diversity. So what they show in Shangri-La Frontiers is if you increase a certain stat, some stats might go down. So for example, let's say you max out your defense, well then your agility is going to go down and your dexterity is going to go down. So you're going to feel a lot more sluggish, you're going to move a lot slower, however you gain that extra defense. What I would like to see in NGS would be like, maybe I have the ability to sacrifice more HP and more PP and convert that into more damage, into raw potency. Or maybe I can just like min-max other things and sacrifice different stats in order to maximize other stats. I feel like that would be really, really cool, where there's just a slider or something where you can just straight up decrease certain stats and increase other stats and stuff like that. That would be really fun to see. Or maybe there's like bonuses if you don't wear specific pieces of armor, or if you don't use a specific type of weapon, you get extra bonus stats that you can put in certain places. Like, you know, just allowing us to customize our classes to make it feel more personal is something that I would definitely love to see be introduced into NGS, because I feel like NGS is okay right now. You know, it's fine as a super casual game that you just hop in and you play for a couple hours every single day and so forth and so on. However, after watching all of these animes based off MMOs, I'm kind of like, dang, those are really great ideas. Why can't we have them? There's another anime other than, of course, Shangri-La Frontiers. I don't know what the English name is called, but the main character is Maple, and she like maxes out her defense stat, and she's just like super overpowered in that anime. But nevertheless, the anime's idea of an MMO is really cool, where they have different floors. So it's a bit like Sword Art Online, where they go to different floors and they progress through the game by going through all of these different floors. But when they go to a different floor, it's like a totally different biome. It's sort of like what we have right now in NGS. We have different regions. So when we go to Alio, when we go to Retem, into Kavaris, into Stia, there's different biomes. So basically they have that in the anime. However, they have updates a lot more frequently, but then again, you know, it's an anime, so of course they can change the background, they can change all of this very easily and very spontaneously, since it is an animation and it's not like an actual video game. But nevertheless, it's really cool to see that they have specific themes for every single floor, and based off the themes, they have events that are built around it. So what I would like to see in NGS is, instead of just having our regular seasonal event, which is super cookie cutter, it's like you kill enemies to get seasonal points, to get this blah 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 blah, you know, build a unique scenario around the seasonal event so that every seasonal event is not the same cookie cutter. I mean, technically you could still use the same formula where it's like you kill enemies, you get seasonal points, you do limited time quests, you do all of these different tasks. However, I think Sega can build a story around each seasonal quest. You know, let's say that this seasonal quest is based around Aina's character building, where we have to help Aina prepare some sort of event, some sort of Arcs Festival or something along those lines, where we see more character development and we see a little bit more story and some background and just flesh out the world a little bit more with the seasonal event. And then the next seasonal event's based around Manon, and the next one's with Dozer, and then with Crawford, and then with Glenn, and stuff like that. I feel like it would be so much more interesting, and people would actually look forward to all of these seasonal events, other than just, you know, the freebies and just the easy to get stuff. It would be just a lot more interesting lore-wise as well, and just have a little bit more world building built around these seasonal events. I think Sega should definitely strive towards that direction, just so that, you know, we don't just kind of sit there and go like, oh yeah, everyone, it's another seasonal event. You're gonna farm the seasonal points, you're gonna buy out the seasonal shop, do the limited time quest for the special scratch tickets, scratch that for star gems, and that's it. You know, it's pretty much, oh, it's the catch-up mechanic again. But the thing is, seasonal events come every other month. And if the seasonal event is just a catch-up mechanic, it's a little bit too often for a catch-up mechanic. I mean, sure, if you want to get new players in and gear them up incredibly quickly, that is a nice way to do it. However, they should just continue to do what they did before with the whole Argenti weapon, just tie it in with the main story. Once you get to X level, you just get all of this gear. Once you hit level 80, you get another tier of gear, so forth and so on. They should just follow that formula instead of shoving these seasonal events down our throats, which are just cookie cutter things, and it's the exact same thing every single time. It's just, you know, you do X, Y, Z, you get the points, you buy at the shop. And that's kind of, you know, I feel like it's such a missed opportunity. If we're gonna have this so often, we might as well get like more mini episodes tied into it. Like, how many of you guys have done the character episodes where you go out and you talk to Dozer, you go out and you talk to Nadare, and you do all their little side stories, even though it's just like a 10-minute cutscene, I think, for every character. Not a lot of people do them. I mean, at least I haven't finished all of them, but I do think that they should just take the content from that and tie that into the seasonal event and build upon that basis. So for example, there's one mini episode with Nadare where she is very nervous about her concert. And she's like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for the concert. I need to rehearse my dance moves, my singing, and all of that stuff. You know, you could build an entire seasonal event around that and have a special concert for that specific duration of the seasonal event, and maybe just have more behind the scene information of Nadare as well as Mosan as well as the crew that is actually performing in the concert. You can go through their troubles, you know, troubleshooting the stage, like help them make the stage and build everything so that they don't have any issues when they're performing. That could be the basis of one of the seasonal events. You know, then we have another one, the most recent episode 6. Aina had a lot of problems and, you know, she was trying to find the right way to teach people. You can build an entire seasonal event about that, where you bring Aina and you bring the recruits and you go to the gorge area and you're fighting all of the mobs with them. You can even make that like a limited time quest, to be honest. And then while you're doing that, you're getting some exposition and some interesting information from all the recruits as well as the Aina herself. And then, you know, you can kind of just help them through that. And as you progress and as you get more seasonal points and as you get more further into the story, you know, you solve their problems, so forth and so on. So it would just make the seasonal events a little bit more interesting. And to be honest, the content's already there. You know, you've made the content already. You just need to tie that into the seasonal event. And after the seasonal event is over, it just becomes a mini episode, just like what it is right now. And that way, people who don't do a lot of the other content available in the game, you know, like the mini episodes, they'll be like, oh, I didn't know that about this character. Oh, I didn't know this about that character, so forth and so on. And it would just be a little bit more inclusive, a little bit more interesting, so people would be incentivized to do all of these different mini episodes that are currently available in the game already. So that's something that I would like to see for seasonal events. Just have a general theme around each seasonal event. Something, of course, I would love to see is, you know, a Japanese themed seasonal event. That would be really, really awesome. Where maybe you go into Lucille Exploration and the entire map of Lucille Exploration is changed into a Japanese themed. You could literally just rip assets off from base PSO2, put them in, and you're done. Like, it doesn't even need to look that pretty. And I'm sure a lot of people would be happy with the lower resolution pixeled arts type of stuff from base game. I think a lot of people, when they see that, they're gonna be like, oh, that's a throwback. And that could be the theme of that season. You could do a lot of throwbacks, you know? Maybe we go into Lucille Exploration and just use it as like a simulation zone, and we can see like past events that happened in the base game. And you can tie that in as like Crawford found a simulation room and it's like, oh wow, we can see what happened to the arcs thousands of years ago. And just literally take the maps that are made in base game, throw that into Lucille Exploration, so when people are running it, they're like, whoa, what is this? And that's literally the theme. And I think that would do very, very well as well. And a lot of people could try out a lot of new and interesting things and know more about the base game. And, you know, you've got all the assets there, so why not use them? So that is another thing that I would definitely like to see implemented into NGS. But that's enough of what I want in NGS. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys want to see?
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.